Hi guys, Melissa Fisher here. It's been ages since I've jumped online to have a chat with you, and today I'm here with Trevor Reynolds. So Trev, how about we have a chat with everyone? Come inside though, it is a little bit cold. We're at Prospect Place in Warragul. Now we have taken you through one side of this, but we're on the newly completed side today, and we're upstairs.
Yeah.
We are. So Trev, tell us a little bit about some of the added extras on this side of the development.
So upstairs, probably the big standout item is above our heads, which is this magnificent light piece. So it's effectively one big LED light strip that goes right around and it's suspended from the ceiling. From what I understand, I'm not very tech savvy, but I believe this can be linked to some sort of software and it can change colours and moods and do all sorts of pretty cool stuff. So
mood lighting, I like it.
Mood lighting. So and it sort of ties in with this structural beam, which you can see at the top of that black beam. So normally that structural element we would hide, but in this case we've exposed it and created a feature out of it and tied the light sort of in with that.
But it also worked really well too. So cost saving by doing things like that?
It actually, yeah, so in reality it is a little bit cheaper to do this, but it creates more height to the building. So we've actually got a raked ceiling. So rather than putting a flat ceiling and I guess suspending it and hanging it down, we've actually been able to fix the plaster to the underside of the roof. So we've saved some money, but we've also created more space.
A better space.
And created a feature.
What are we at our lowest point, ceiling wise?
I think we're 2.7 out here, and we got to probably 3.5 metres on that side of the building.
And it gives it a great airy feeling. So
it
this is open space in here. This will be used predominantly for open space office. There'll be multiple desks and things like that going on with the new owners. But it does, having that higher ceiling gives a really good open air feeling. A lot of room, a lot of space in here. In the floor.
We have squares in the floor.
We do.
So what we've got here, these have been around for some time, but they basically, they're a recess. So we've got PowerPoints and data in here. That basically just flips down, you just flip that up, your cables pop out. So if you had a desk here, everything comes up, clips on the desk. So we've got a few of those around the floor here. We've got in this office at the front, we've done that. The client specifically wanted, again, a feature light, the desk being in the centre, so we've got that arrangement in the floor there as well.
This now means you can face your desk any way you want, not have leads running everywhere. It tidies up the floor, it stops having things to trip over, and it's nice and clean.
It is.
It gives it a nice, clean, flush look internally, which is great. What other technology has been brought in up here?
So we've got fob access to offices. So basically, you just have a little like a little dongle or a fob that you can just swipe across there. You just have it on the key ring that unlocks.
That's
the door.
for front door access too, yes.
Yeah. So they've got that front and rear, and you can have various fobs for various rooms. So you can actually change who has access to whatever area, and that can be turned on and off remotely as well.
Perfect.
Without actually taking the fob off the person. You've still got your traditional lock there as well, so you can, lock the door as well. So it basically just has a little electronic little striker in there that just actuates and opens up. And then as part of that, we've got some security. So we've got cameras up here. We've got an actual screen here, so we can actually see who's at the front door if we need to. So the door chime goes off, we can actually view and talk to that person, and we can also unlock the front door or the rear door from
So
here.
this is not being used for walk off the street access for people at all. This is being used for a very specific purpose, which we're not going to give away yet. So that's perfect because
so they've got no reception downstairs. So this enables staff that are, and this is in a few locations within the building. So it just allows people to know who's at the door and can provide that remote access. So. Which
is gold when you've got people walking around selling things that you don't particularly need. And what are the vents for, Trev?
So that's a very good question.
Thank you.
So we've got, this is airflow through the building. So with these commercial buildings, they're actually sealed quite tight, unlike a house. So effectively, they've got rubber seals around the doors. So we've basically got to get air into the building, and we've got to get air out of the building. So around the air conditioning units, we've got a small vent in the ceiling that pushes fresh air in. As the air's used, it's forced out through an exit, so we call that the dirty air, I guess, clean air.
Beautiful.
Push it through and we get airflow. So that's
we don't end up with stale air
consistently,
and that dry, horrible feeling you get. Yeah.
And the air's brought in from above the building, so it's always clean, fresh air as well.
It's a better working environment. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I reckon what we should do is have a little bit of a walk downstairs.
We did have some tradies there earlier, but I can't hear them now.
No, and it's that time.
So it's beer o'clock. So
Oh mate, it is so.
Yes.
It is. So let's have a wander downstairs and see what's happened. Now Trevor, on the stairs we have interesting finishes on these. Do you want to tell us about
we
it?
do. So what we've tried to do, we've done this epoxy finish, which gives that polished concrete effect, and this is obviously upstairs on a timber floor. But what we haven't done before is actually done on the treads of the stairs. So what we've done is we've used a special underlay on the tread, and we've done a polyurethane around the edge to stop it cracking, and we've actually done it on the treads, and our guy that does this hasn't done it on the stairs before. And
It's come up well, I've got to say.
it sort of almost looks like a concrete step.
And it's so clean down the edges. You would not have thought this was put on after the event at all.
And again, it's cost effective because these are an MDF stair with this feature on top.
Well, I can tell you cost effective, definitely, but when we want to look at doing proper polished concrete and the dust and the time frame that goes with doing that, it's crazy. The amount of dirt you would have messy you would have had up here and trying to get equipment up here to do it would have been crazy. And the cost to actually get the concrete, you know, having a...
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, so this is what's left of what would be a factory. And I think that this is under 100 square metres.
Yep.
This is, but it will still serve as a different application, and then let's get into multi-tenancies with this.
Yes.
Right, so we have the ability here to separate this with power, water, everything to have two completely separate tenancies.
Correct, so this particular building we've set up for two tenancies.
Yep.
So where we are downstairs at the moment, this warehouse and the section which we haven't been into yet, just adjacent downstairs, this can be one tenancy.
Yep.
And in these doors we're talking to you through, there's a deadbolt that can be locked off, and the rear downstairs section and upstairs where we just were before can be another tenancy because we've got rear access and front access. And we've done that through separate water supply, separate power, separate NBN. We've put separate hot water services in.
Yep.
If you pop through, we've got a data cabinet, a data room. So we've also put a separate data cabinet upstairs, which currently are interlinked because this will be used as one tenancy.
But sustainability.
Yeah, so again, for investment perspective and future growth, so it allows these guys to simply, lock some doors.
I remember having that conversation with them that it was not just about what they're doing today.
Correct.
It's making sure that you're building for that point in
Correct.
time where you either grow out of it or decide that you want to change, and you've got that flexibility. So that gives really good value. It gives good value for an asset that you're working out of at the moment. Let's pop through this because this is, we said this was one tenancy. You have your factory here, and coming through to you're going to have some office spaces. And as much as the trade's nearly finished, not quite, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So it comes through to office space.
So this is a storeroom and access.
Yeah. Plenty of office space down here. Again, in the other one, and in the one that we completed earlier, that had a reception area out the front here, where these guys have put this into full office space.
So a large office through
and an access point that goes up to where we just were upstairs. And I've got to say, I'm super impressed. Forget about the power supply. But I'm super impressed with how the stairs look.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it is very cool.
It gives it a nice finish. It's not just another set of stairs. It finishes it off quite nicely. It gives it a cool look. Maintains a little bit of that industrial look too, which is where it all started, isn't it?
And again with this, originally this building was for a different use, and the client came along when we had framework up. So originally there was no stairs going in here, so these got cut out and added, and then we thought we'll create this little feature, something different. And luckily the client liked it, so it was even better.
Well, the thing is though, they were super easy to work with too, as far as that went with it, because they knew that they were coming in halfway through a build.
Yeah.
So from an adaptability process, we were very okay to work with them and say, okay, let's make this work, because there was a good win-win situation for everyone. But how did it go for you from a build perspective? Because we were halfway through a different concept.
Look, it was tricky. We had to think outside the square a little bit, and we had to, determine what changes, what effect that might have, particularly structurally. So we did have some structural elements. We had to add some steel beams in the roof, some steel columns. But you know, that's part of the challenge. We enjoy the challenge. So.
But overall, the end result from a time perspective for you and a cost perspective?
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, all worked out.
So it really isn't that hard to be adaptable.
No,
I
think yeah, it's one of those things you've got to be a little bit careful where if you just say yes, it can blow time and cost. But if you're very disciplined, so at the start of this we had a very clear brief. So the client, they provided a drawing of what they wanted. We sort of adjusted that slightly to say, well, this is more practical based on the existing frame that's here. So we just set some ground rules with that and stuck to that, and that's what made it easy. It was very clear what we're going to provide and what we're going to do.
So I know there were some changes in glass in windows. How many did we end up with left?
So that was a challenge, and we actually, so with that, because we had windows, they wanted shifted doors. So originally this was going to be 2 offices, for example. So there was an extra door here and an extra window. We basically cut and pasted with our doors and windows. And we actually ended up with nothing left over. So we actually expected to have some spares.
That. No waste.
Exactly. And, I mean, obviously we've got some more to build at the back, so we thought, well, if we've got excess, we can use it there. But at the end of the day, we actually used everything. So it worked out really well. And our crew that do the glazing, they were fantastic. So
we can't fault the tradespeople.
That's right.
They've been amazing. Everyone here from Adaptability Concept. Because I do remember that point in time.
Yes.
Sorry guys. Have been incredible with what they've actually put in and what they've done. Okay, we might take a little bit of a, let's not give a sneak peek on the signs up there and have a look at that. So tea room.
Yep, so kitchen in there.
You would have noticed there was one upstairs, a complete one upstairs. So separate tenancies again. You've got a complete kitchen, bathroom, everything upstairs that serves one tenancy, and then a complete everything downstairs. So this is the downstairs kitchen.
This is actually a really cool seal system that goes in doors. They're quite expensive, but these are...
So talk about why first. What are we doing? What is the whole idea?
So this room is actually acoustically, we've done a lot of work here. So obviously you can hear our voices echo, so acoustically from that perspective we haven't looked at that, but it's more sound not getting in, sound not getting out. The acoustics will be modified once the tenant puts their everything in. But so what we've had to do is put acoustic plaster on the walls, so it's a double layer of plaster. We also put acoustic insulation bats in the walls. The doors are solid doors, and all the doors have full seals around the doors. And at the bottom of these doors we've got this really cool seal system. And what it does, it just has a little switch on the side, so when the door closes it presses that switch and it literally pops that seal down hard on the floor and it creates a seal.
Okay, so it actually technically does seal it.
So it actually stops, so there's actually one fitted this door already, so you can see the little switch. When that closes it just pops the seal down and no sound. And I was actually here before chatting and he had the radio on in here, closed the door, couldn't hear a thing.
Oh wow, and that was absolutely a brief from the client on this one, that these particular rooms had to be noise proof.
100%. So and again,
thank you very much, appreciate it. Alrighty guys, we'll touch base again soon when we have the clients going through and show you all the exciting bells and whistles as they go off. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.